Today I'm going to be messing around with my Prizim and showing you its features and functions, and also some cool things I've discovered about blues that only work on the Prizim. This is for those who are curious about the Prizim, want to know a little bit more, haven't been able to see one or try one, and this will be a little introduction to the different things it can do. And the Prizim is a chromatic autoharp. Meaning it's tuned one string per note. It's got all the black notes and all the white notes on it, so you can play in a bunch more keys than you can on a diatonic autoharp. A diatonic autoharp would take a pair of strings and limit you down to only the tunes and songs that can be played within one or two keys. And it gives you a full, rich sound because of the double strings, but it limits your repertoire by doing that. So what this harp does is it also plays diatonic music, because all of these middle chord bars, instead of being chords, are scales. For example, the chromatic scale just sounds like a mess when you play it open. But when you push down any one of these, you're resolving that and subtracting anything out that's not in one of the major keys of the harp. So I have 7 of those, each one tuned to a major scale without the second scale degree. In other words, no re. Do, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. No re in there. Okay? So these down here, instead of being sevenths, are ninths, which is a 7th chord with an added note, and that added note is re. So by pushing the 2 down together, instead of getting a major scale, you get a major chord. So you will often see me playing these 2 buttons at once, and from this angle you can't really see that. But if I turn my chair this way, you can see that I'm pushing down the back row sort of with the joint part of my finger and the middle, and I can do this and open and close that 9th chord, and that allows me to open chord like a diatonic instrument up and down the major scale for that chord. In this case, this is the G major scale and this is the G9. So by opening and closing that, I can open chord on the diatonic scale. Furthermore, the 9th chord, having 5 notes in it, is a blues scale, and I can open chord by opening and closing the major bar and keeping the minor down, and that sounds like this. Or I can open chord and go back and forth between 2 ninths, and then I get a full blues scale that sounds very open chorded. And I'll give you that in context in a minute. I wanted to tell you about some of the other chords on here. So you have these ninth chords that are substituted for the sevenths. Do they really work like sevenths? Yes, they work exactly like sevenths. Because listen to this. Here's the major and the ninth. So you can do a song that you would normally use sevenths on and put in the ninths. And they sound just like the sevenths. They just have an extra note in them. Now, open chording between the two sounds like this. Which you then temper a little bit by adding the major scale bar in. Now we don't call the major scales, the major buttons, we don't call them majors because that confuses people and they think it's a major chord. It's not, it's a major scale. So we call it a star. Okay? That's just to keep things clear. For example, C star, G star, D star, A star, E star, B star. And the reason we call it a star is if you look at the buttons that surround it, it's just like a star, almost like a joystick. This is the pivot, and if you add any button diagonally or up and down, while you keep that down, you get a different form of the chord. For example, major, major 7, minor 7. Here's the major 7 on the other side. That's a sus4. And this one is an add 9. It's not a ninth, it's an add 9. And that's a great one to use because of this one that goes. Gives it a real country feel. Minor sevenths are great because they're also an add 6. So you have a major scale and you add the 6 to it, which sounds wonderfully new agey, and I like it in songs like Oh Babe, It Ain't No Lie. Been all around this whole wide world, and I just got back today. I work all the week, give it all to you, honey baby, what more can I do? Now let me turn and let you see what my hand is doing. I'm holding down 2 again, this time not with one finger but 2, and then I'm doing this. I'm switching out the back one for one up here to play the minor 7. And so these two are rocking back and forth like that. I'm exaggerating it a little bit so that you can see it. Major, add 6, or minor 6, or minor 7, excuse me. Okay, so now I'm going to throw in those add 9s for that country suspension. that's the open chording on the major. So this harp has a very full, rich sound also, but it's coming for a different reason. It's because I'm using so many open strings. To add to my sound instead of staying on just. This is the way you'd have to play it on a diatonic or a chromatic. I've been all around this old wide world. I just got back today. And on the prism, I've been all around this old wide world. I just got back today. So, that's playing in a major. You can also do the minors across here. Instead of bridging here, these two, you bridge these two, and you get a minor chord. And so those go all the way down, but the minors are also down here. Which simplifies your fingering sometimes. You can catch a instead of reaching up to grab it, you can just pull it off the bottom, and that can simplify things. What else? Okay, across the middle are major sevenths. You combine two of these star buttons, and you get six different major seventh chords. Which also work as a major plus the added seventh, like if you're walking down, like. Okay, so major sevenths. You can also open chord between those and make wonderful jazz sounds. Another place good that minor sevenths are good for are in the blues. Okay, what I did there is A minor 9, or sorry, A minor 7. Is it A minor 7? No, it's not. A, F sharp minor 7, and then A9, okay? And that sounds like this when you speed it up. don't just come out of the little area that you play in one key on. You have to jump all the way across. For example, from A to A minor 7 also makes wonderful blues sounds. A is here, A minor 7 is all the way up here. And you remember it's this button and this button, which is the perfect angle for the thumb to catch. I'm catching one here and one under this joint here. And I can actually tip it up and down and open that one up if I want to open chord it, or I can open chord it the other way. And that sounds like this. Okay, so there's notes that come in from all over the keyboard when you play, all over the button board when you play blues. You can pull in this one that's 4 up. Pumping one open and closed to get that blues sound, or I can pump these open and closed with these. And you can't see what my thumb is doing under there. I wonder if you can if I turn it around this way. My thumb, I've got these two down on these, and I'm catching my thumb under there. Okay, so I'm toggling these open and closed, or pumping this up and down to get the blues sound, and then throwing this one down so I get the 2/9 toggling back and forth. So you can see it's an impossible thing to sort of shoot on camera because of shadows and things that are going on underneath here. One thing I do is I form my fingers into a little square like this. Okay? And this is 2 pairs of fingers. This one and this one, and this one and this one. And they work in tandem on the buttons. In other words, these two go down on those 2 buttons, and these 2 go down on those 2 buttons, so that I can pump that one open and closed while leaving this one down, and I can also pump this one open and closed while leaving this one down, and I can go back and forth between them. Now, the layout of the buttons is almost exactly the same as what we call the Brian Bowers, because we have the 1 chord and the 4 chord and the 5 chord, and down here is the 5/7 or the 5/9. And so, by playing with flat fingers, which is actually very ergonomic and easy to do, especially with these chord bars, you can play melodies just as fast as you can on a chromatic autoharp or a diatonic autoharp. You really can. Let's see here. Which is all closed chord style like a chromatic autoharp. I can also open chord it by pumping open and closed like this. There's just a little bit of what you can do on the Prizim. It also has minor ninths, minor sixes, which don't get called for very much in popular music. There's one in the Eleanor Rigby song. That's the minor ninth. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of those available on the harp. And there's actually there's 8 minors available, because not only are there these, but you remember I said there are alternate minors down the front? Well, these minors are duplicates of these minors. But this minor is a D minor, and I don't have a D minor up here. So I can get D sharp minor, G sharp minor, C sharp minor, F sharp minor, B minor, E minor, A minor, and D minor this way. I very seldom use the D sharp minor button, but it is down there just because it's a placeholder. So there is an example. Now I'm going to play you a little bit of blues. That's my little intro to the Prizim. If you have any questions, you can contact me through Facebook or through my website. The website address is down on in the notes to this video. Thanks for watching. I enjoyed sharing with you.